What is up, everybody out there in podcast land? You know what time it is.
It's time to get ill. Oh, wait, that's for the weekend edition.
Who are you, LL Cool J?
Let's go. No, I'm the conquistador, Dave. Hi.
And I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane. Glad to have you aboard for your weekly politically incorrect sports fix. Yes, Sports Frenzy 2.0. Taping here on April the 26th, 2023. This will hit on Thursday morning, the 27th. This is our NFL Draft preview episode. Now, unfortunately, we had to tweak tradition a little bit because the Conquistador and I, along with one of our panel members, the Elder Statesman, have had a nice standing tradition going for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yep, getting together, watching the first round.
But because Dave has got a rock and roll show to go to, which always takes precedence, and I say that in all seriousness, it does. We're going to watch the second and third rounds together.
Yep. So that will be Friday evening. So life will be good anyway.
So starting to hear rumblings, rumors, there's ramifications now because the other shoe has finally dropped.
Finally dropped. So long, Rodgers. Don't let the NFC North door hit you in the ass on the way out. Oh, wait. Let it hit you in the ass on the way out, you pompous piece of refuse. Aaron Rodgers finally traded to the New York Jets. It's been a long time coming, and we have the breakdown for you. The Jets get Rodgers, Green Bay's 2023 first-round pick, number 15, and the 2023 Green Bay fifth-round pick, number 170. The Packers are getting the Jets' 2023 first round, number 13, the 2023 second round, number 42, the 2023 sixth round, number 207, and 2024, a conditional second round pick, but would become a first rounder if Rodgers plays more than 65% of the snaps.
Yes. So that should, you would think, flip to a first round pick.
You would imagine.
So it's a pretty...
Barring a Shea McClellan type hit knocking his leg out from under him.
You would think this would be a pretty good deal for the Packers. I think this is why it took so long. I think this is why we had this game of chicken going on between New York and Wisconsin. And I think the Packers won.
I think they did.
I mean, it's not a huge bounty.
No, but he's an old aging quarterback.
And they're expecting 2 years out of him.
Yeah. So there you go.
So you get that first round pick swap coming up tomorrow night.
Yes.
Again, as we tape on Wednesday, for Thursday night, the Packers move up 2 spots. And then again, next year, they should get the Jets' first round pick.
Yep. So wouldn't it be great just to stick it to Rodgers if Green Bay actually drafted a wide receiver in the first round, which they never did for him?
I just, again, everybody knows I listen to a lot of New York sports media. God knows why, but
they have no idea what they're getting into, do they?
No. They're all just giddy beyond belief. They're already talking AFC Championship game, bare minimum. They seem to have forgotten about Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, possibly still Lamar Jackson, depending on what happens with him.
Oh, good grief.
And that. So could something happen in the next 24 hours with that, leading up until 7 p.m. on Thursday night?
Yeah, you never know.
I heard Derrick Henry might be on his way to Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because this would be the time to do it because they've got 1 more year left on Jalen Hurts' deal before that escalates with the new extension that we talked about last week.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting. I think and we're hearing all sorts of things about that number one pick and how these 4 top quarterbacks are going to slot in.
Yeah, what was it? The money line on betting moved big time when Levis finally jumped up as the odds-on favorite now to be number one, based on a tweet. Yeah, he posted that Carolina contacted him, supposedly posted.
Why would you do that? I'm sure the Panthers are like,
dude, seriously.
You're not helping yourself with this behavior.
No.
Now, I am a big, I know, shocking, considering my behavior sometimes on this podcast, I am a big thought guy, mental guy. I want the smart guys. Remember the old Wonderlic test?
Right.
I wanted the guys who scored well on the Wonderlic test. I want the smart guys. Now, I don't know if it's the Wonderlic anymore, but reports are they administered, of course, a cognitive test is what they're calling it. And included, of course, were the top 4 quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson. Richardson scored, I believe, in the high 70 percentile, 79, 78%. Not bad.
Not bad.
Will Levis was in the mid to low 90s, I believe. Bryce Young, 98%.
Damn.
C.J. Stroud, 18%.
No!
This is why the betting lines have shifted. And this is why everybody thinks Frank Reich is now looking at Bryce Young or Will Levis as a backup.
Well, you think?
In case some kind of last-minute
disaster
happens.
That's not good.
But some scouts, some teams don't care about this.
Right. Well, Marino didn't exactly light the world on fire with his Wonderlic test.
He's always the one. He is always the one.
He's the outlier.
Right. So I'm sure Stroud will go in the top 5 or 6 picks. I don't think any of these guys are going to slide because this league is so desperate for quarterbacks.
Well, it's the help me right this moment. We're not going to develop you. You have to be the star right from the get-go. You cannot do that. It takes a year or 2 to develop these guys in the system. It's insane to expect them to come out and light the world on fire right off the bat.
Well, I agree. And you just look at past history, and you look at Patrick Mahomes, how he sat for pretty much a full year.
Yeah.
Before he got thrown into the fire.
I mean, my God,
Aaron Rodgers. We just talked about Aaron Rodgers. He sat for how long?
A couple years.
Yeah. 2 or 3.
Yeah. You look, Aikman thrown into the fire, how abysmal he was until things got rolling.
People are going to say him and Peyton Manning had that same trajectory where they got thrown into the fire, had awful first years.
They would have been better off sitting, though.
I think they're the exceptions. I think there's a reason they're Hall of Famers is because they were the rarity. They were 2 of the few that could handle it. Most of these kids cannot handle this.
No. And a lot of these, it's sad.
It is. It is. And I'm not trying to bag on C.J. Stroud, but come on. 18% on this cognitive test?
Eek. Dude, did you toke up before you went in?
You know he's going to end up in Indianapolis. Frank Reich now in Carolina, obviously formerly of Indianapolis. He's a smart coach. I got to believe this whole Will Levis thing is BS. I think he's going to take Bryce Young. I got to believe he's going to take the smart quarterback.
I would think so.
The battle-tested, the winner.
We'll see. Stranger things have happened.
Who knows? Will Levis could be on his way to Houston. No rumors that I have heard of coming out of the Houston camp.
No, none whatsoever. It's crickets coming out of there.
Yeah. Now, of course, we need to look at the Bears, our team, as they have, moved back to number 9 with a monumental, fantastic deal.
Yep, they got a decent little haul for it.
And I have told you, and I have told the podcast audience who I want. And if we don't get him, if he's available and we don't get him, I'm going to be very upset.
And
I
remind
don't
the kids
want
out
the
there,
Northwestern offensive lineman. Yeah, I've heard he's got short arms.
that
the minute I hear
doesn't
that,
mean anything.
oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Remind the kids who you want.
I want the best cornerback prospect out there. I want Christian Gonzalez, Oregon cornerback.
Despite the fact that we need an edge rusher, despite the fact
Well, now
that
wait, if it's not going to happen, but if the Alabama kid drops back, he's going to be gone in the top 5 or 6. Now the conundrum is going to be
Jalen Carter.
If Jalen Carter drops back to 9, and you've got Carter and Gonzalez, or your Northwestern offensive lineman sitting out there, who do you take? The thing I don't like, I don't have a problem with the incident.
You go with the running back.
Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
I wouldn't actually be that upset with that, to be honest with you. That wouldn't bother
Head
me a
and
bit.
shoulders the best one at the position. There's depth. There's some depth at the edge. There's some depth at tackle.
I just don't want the short-armed Northwestern offensive lineman. There's going to be better talent. I'm sorry. I know we need offensive line help.
The Bears are not in a position to take a chance on Carter. We do not have any strong presence in the locker room. There's no veteran leadership to direct this kid, which obviously he needs.
Completely agree.
It's not like you do not have an Urlacher or an Olin Kreutz who command the locker room and will put the law down.
Yeah, and like I was saying, the incident, tragic as it was, the whole drag racing incident isn't what turns me off from him.
No.
It's how he showed up for his workout.
Yeah, he was overweight,
breathing heavy,
breathing out of shape.
Yep.
Couldn't complete his routines. Sorry, that's lack of motivation.
That's what worries me.
Yeah.
I might actually go with Mr. Short Arms. You know, I'm going to call him that if we draft him every chance I get. They're saying he's going to play guard. Are you really going to draft a guard at number 9?
No, you don't want a guard at 9. You need
get me a
tackle.
Left tackle at 9. I'm fine with it. If he's going to play guard,
no,
he's not worth
you do
the
not
ninth
draft
overall
a
pick.
guard 9th overall. You need a tackle, a left tackle at 9, or a dominant edge rusher.
And that I agree with. And there's a kid, I believe, I want to say Texas Tech. Again, the Alabama kid won't be there.
Right.
If the Texas Tech kid is there, I could be persuaded.
Yeah.
I could be persuaded. And I would be fine with the crazy home run swing for Bijan Robinson.
Oh, my God. You take how much pressure?
If you're not going to get Austin Eckler, which I've been wanting, and you've already signed these second-tier guys.
Yeah, you need a true stud running back to take the pressure off of Fields.
Yes.
And this kid can block. He can run. He can catch. He is the threat that you need.
And see, somebody is going to get really lucky if nobody takes a chance. And we, all these things we've been hearing over the last 3 or 4 years, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You can get a comparable talent in the 3rd or 4th round.
There is no comparable talent in running backs this draft.
Somebody, I'll tell you, if he slips out of the top 10, somebody's going to get lucky.
This is a generational back.
I agree. That's why I would be more upset if the Bears take Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Than I would be if they took
agree.
Robinson.
Yeah, I completely agree. Carter needs to be in an environment.
He needs to be off our draft board.
Yeah. He needs to be in an environment with a strong veteran presence that can guide him and kick him in the ass.
Maybe he'll drop to Bill Belichick.
You never know.
All right. Other NFL news to discuss. Gambling suspensions. The hammer comes down on 4 Lions players and a commander.
Guys, seriously.
Betting inside the facility. So the big name in all of this, of course, is the now going to be a second-year player, wide receiver, Jameson Williams for the Lions. Of course, injured most of year one.
Yeah.
High draft pick out of Alabama. He's going to be gone now for at least 6 games.
Yep. For betting while in the team facility. A no-no.
3 other Lions are suspended. Another one for 6 games like Williams. The other 2, indefinite, have to reapply after a year. They just cut bait. They cut ties with them and said,
was
see ya.
Cephas and more for betting on football.
Then the Commanders player, I think he is still on the roster, but he is likewise indefinite suspension, can apply for reinstatement after a year.
Yep. You do not bet on your own sport, you idiots. It's spelled out. It's clear as day. And these twits have no clue.
No. And we just saw what happened with the first big suspension with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
He lost a full year of his career. Now, it ended up, he got kind of a golden parachute. We'll see how it goes. But where he landed, where he ended up after Atlanta had to let him go, Atlanta really got screwed in the whole deal.
Yeah, Atlanta got hosed badly.
And now you could say, arguably, the Lions have been screwed. Which is nothing new.
No, but they also have, 4 picks in the top 55?
Yeah.
So I'm not crying for them too badly.
Yes. Don't cry for me, Motor City. Yes, a little bit of a Vita there for you kids. Because I am a big show tunes guy.
Yeah, right.
Now, of course, we talked about Bill Belichick a few minutes ago. The man with the pencil behind his ear, Matt Patricia, is now out for good, it looks like, from the Bill Belichick camp.
Yep, he walked away.
And he is now a senior defensive assistant. Thank God he's back on defense for the Eagles. So a good hire for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Considering he's back on the defensive side where he belongs.
Yeah, and not head coach.
And not offensive coordinator or co-offensive coordinator.
What the hell was Belichick smoking?
I don't know. A lot of people are finally starting to see the chinks in the armor. You know, they're saying that if he botches this draft again this year,
maybe it's time to say goodbye.
Robert Kraft will
maybe
he might need an extra massage to get that stress off of him. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you got to wonder, is Belichick slipping?
We'll see. I don't know if you can blame Mac Jones for all of this. You know, that's what everybody seems to want to do is dump on Mac Jones.
You can't. It's on Belichick for putting him in that crap position. Yeah. You do not put a defensive-minded person in charge of the offense.
Yeah. So I'll be interested to see, again, what happens. The problem is with now the AFC East, the Patriots are clearly the worst team in that division.
Who would have thought that would have happened?
I'm not putting the Jets in the Super Bowl like everybody else.
I'm sorry.
They're still the 3rd team in that division.
Yeah, the Bills are still the top dog.
And I think if Tua stays upright, the Dolphins are better as well, especially with a lot of the upgrades.
Yes, they upgraded everywhere.
So if Tua can just
stay healthy.
Upright, and what was it, his ninja training now that he learned how to fall?
He learned how to fall to protect his willow head.
All right, let's move to the college game here for a couple minutes before we wrap up segment one. Locally, around these parts where we tape this wonderful podcast, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the Blue Gold game, the annual festival of Notre Dame athletic pomposity. Gold wins over blue 24-0. And then right after that,
Tyler Buckner says, I'm entering the transfer portal.
well, this is what happens when you bring in the kid from Wake Forest.
Yep.
And you act like he's the be-all, end-all.
We'll see. Who knows where Buckner will land? Will he follow Tommy Rees to Alabama? Or will he wind up staying put? We don't know.
I did hear. That's a very good point about Alabama. I did hear that they're struggling in the spring practices. The quarterbacks down there with the Crimson Tide are struggling.
Not looking good right now.
So that's not a bad observation there. Every once in a while you come up with a good one.
I do. There's a nugget because Tommy Rees, former Notre Dame offensive coordinator who worked with Buckner, is now down there. So we'll see what happens.
And then finally, thank God, I think this might be the end of the 4-hour college football game.
God, could we hope?
The NCAA approves, except for Division III, I believe. We will have a running clock after first down.
Oh,
it has been approved.
Thank God.
So that should speed things up a little bit when it comes to these unbelievable game times that we have to go through in college football.
How about we knock out the 6-minute TV timeouts?
Yeah. The worst part of going to see a college football game live is when that poor schlub comes out with the orange sleeve.
Yep. TV timeout. 2 minutes later. Another TV timeout. We don't need that many damn TV timeouts.
Unfortunately, though, that's the way things are going. We've
money.
We've talked about it with NASCAR. We've noticed more commercials in NASCAR.
God,
it seems
so
like
bad.
Speaking of NASCAR, in segment 2, coming up here in Sports Frenzy, we will discuss Talladega's kind of a boring race.
It was.
I mean, I'm not rooting for the big one, but at the same time,
it wasn't very exciting. There wasn't a lot of passing. It was just kind of a milk toast race.
And then we'll discuss our picks and preview the Dover race. And some big news, another Hendricks driver injured and will miss multiple races.
Yep.
So we'll have all that for you. In segment 2, we've got baseball coming up, and that would include David Height discussing his woeful Chicago White Sox.
Oh, we've got rants coming, kids. Nobody is safe.
Stay tuned. Segment 2 coming up. Just quick promo break. We'll be right back.
This episode of Sports Frenzy 2.0 is brought to you by the Bills Mafia Marital Aid Company, because when you are down and out, we'll bring you back up and in the game. Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher. Welcome back. Segment 2 of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
Along with the maestro, Kevin Crane.
It's April 26, 2023 as we record. This will drop Thursday the 27th on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher!
Don't forget to check out the Facebook page.
That's right.
For our weekly baseball picks.
NASCAR picks will be there.
I am doing much better getting the baseball picks out in a somewhat timely manner.
There you go. That's good.
Of course, links to each and every podcast episode, including the world-renowned Weekend Edition.
Shameless plug. Check it out Saturday mornings.
This weekend, we have reviews of LA Guns' new album, Black Diamonds, along with new songs from Extreme and the Foo Fighters. Dave's got a book review for you. I've got a movie review for you. We'll have to give you our updates on Titans and Perry Mason.
Wrap up on Perry Mason.
Well, I haven't checked with you in our prep. We didn't really check on that.
But
I didn't know if you'd watched the final episode.
Have.
So you'll have our full review of season 2 of Perry Mason. There you go, kids. But let us get back to sports. And the reason why, you might have noticed your Uncle Dave was a little bit subdued there in his typical segment 2 opening, because we're going to talk about baseball.
And all that shit's going to change!
Of course, we like to talk about our teams, along with all the big headlines in the world of sports.
You should be very happy with the way your Cubs are playing so far this season.
I'm okay with it. Some good, some bad. The rotation's inconsistent. But my second favorite Cubs player of all time is coming back. Looks like finally the shoulder strain for Kyle Hendricks might have healed.
Yep.
And we could use him because, like I said, the rotation is very inconsistent. The Cubs are 13-9.
Must be nice to be over 500.
They're 2 games behind the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Who would have seen that coming at the start of the season?
In third place, of course, the Brewers, they're sandwiched in between. We'll have more talk about the Pirates in a few minutes. Like I said, Kyle Hendricks coming back possibly here in the next week or two to rejoin the rotation. Going to have to get his arm strength up with some minor league rehab assignments. Jamison Tyone, of course, another one of those wonderful free agent signings that has been awful so far. He goes to the IL. But Mr. Drew Smyly almost threw a perfect game.
Almost. This has got to be one of the worst ways to lose it.
Two teammates running into each other?
When he collides with his catcher trying to feel the ball to throw the guy out. At least he could smile about it and laugh after.
Yeah, as long as they won the game, that's got to be your focus. That's got to be your focus. And
it's baseball. Goofy crap happens.
Stroman and Steele are both pitching lights out. So if Hendricks can come back at 80% of what he's been in the past,
then he's your solid 3.
Then you've got the rotation in good shape. The young kid we got from the Yankees, Wesneski, he's having a rough time right now. So there's offense. The guys are hitting the ball well. So for the most part, Trey Mancini's not all that great, but Yan Gomes, Jesus God. I guess I shouldn't have complained about letting Wilson Contreras go.
My God, this guy is knocking the hell out of the ball.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Everything. And he's calling great games for the pitchers.
Yep. Guarded optimism with the Cubs. And then our other team that we like to cover, I'll leave that to Dave.
Oh, you mean the White Sox? SUCKS, who are an abysmal 7-18, third worst in baseball. 2 more wins than the A's, 1 more win than the Royals. This is the epitome of an organization that has no damn clue what the hell they're doing, from the ownership all the way down through triple, double, single A, and the scouting department. They are trash. They are a shambles. They have no clue how to be an organization that can win.
Well, we were curious in our break between the first and second segments, so you actually looked up the status of the minor leagues.
Yep.
For all of the big ball clubs, and you were not happy with what came back for the White Sox.
No, not surprised. The Major League pipeline, Major League Baseball has them sitting at the 26th out of 30 in where their minor league system is. Bleacher Report has them at 28th. Not good at all. I mean, some of the top 10 prospects, Oscar Colas is second. He's already up this year because they didn't address right field. And I think he's day-to-day right now. So they've had Eloy playing. Not a good sign. Number 7, infielder Lennon Sosa. Had to bring him up because Anderson's down with a sprained knee at shortstop, so they had to move Elvis Andrus over. But nobody is hitting. They got shut out 2 days in a row. They were outscored like 20-2 in the games against the Blue Jays. Their pitching is crap. Dylan Cease has not looked good at the last 2 outings, but he's trying to throw the perfect games because he's the only one worth a damn. Giolito is Lance Lynn is done. You can tell he's washed up. He's got nothing. Trailer Park Clevenger is worthless, like I thought he was going to be. And Kopech can't find his head up his ass with both hands. He has no clue how to pitch. So, I mean, you've got 5 starters, all right-handers, all throwing basically the same damn pitches. It doesn't take the other teams long to figure out how to smash the hell out of them. The bullpen is absolute garbage. Nobody is worth a damn in there.
Does Liam Hendricks even bother coming back?
You know, you got to wonder, does he even want to come to this pile of hot, steaming feces?
And the one troubling thing about the White Sox that I have noticed as an outsider over the last year and a half or so is how bad they are at home on the south side.
They've been absolutely abysmal. And
you're not going to win if you can't win at home.
Yeah. And it's a hitter-friendly park, and we have a team of DHs, and nobody can hit the frickin' ball. It's really pathetic. Reinsdorf needs to sell the team. He needs to stay the hell out of running things. He has got to stop being loyal to everybody. Kenny Williams needs to be gone as president of operations of baseball. Rick Hahn needs to be gone as general manager. Do not bring Chris Getz in. He's supposedly in charge of player development. There's no development going on. He's supposedly next in line for GM. No, you have to tear everything down. You have to look at how Houston tore the hell out of everything and started to develop. You want to mimic Houston. You want to mimic the Braves. You want to mimic the Rays as far as player development. And it has to start at the top with the owner staying the hell out of everything. And bringing in quality people who know what the hell they're doing. And we have not seen any of that from the White Sox.
Yeah.
They are a garbage organization.
You can't promote from within when the team is not performing well. What you do is you go poach. You go poach from Tampa Bay.
Everywhere.
You go poach from Houston.
You poach from Atlanta. You poach from St. Louis.
Well, St. Louis right now, I don't know.
Right now, yeah, but still, it's a blip on the radar for them this year.
We talked about this. They have never developed the pitching.
No,
They've
pitching
got a
is
decent
the one
lineup
area
in terms of hitting and fielding. Never developed the pitching.
So no.
You can't keep depending on Adam Wainwright, a.k.a. Methuselah.
Yeah, and he's starting to show chinks in the armor.
Well, I don't even
he's
think
40
he's
years
pitched
old.
This year. I think he's on the way back this year.
But
to
still,
rely on him as your ace.
That's pathetic.
He's not Verlander. He's not Scherzer. And look at those two.
And Scherzer is he's shown the last 2 years that he doesn't have the durability.
He can't make it to the playoffs.
No. And now he's looking very beatable.
Well, of course. What a segue. Nice segue.
Do you like that?
Yes. Max Scherzer, we talked last week about the big blow up, the argument, him getting tossed because of the sticky stuff.
Oh, it was rosin and sweat. No, I think it was a little bit more. They know what rosin and sweat looks like.
There might have been some alcohol involved, the type you use to clean your hands.
Yeah, but that's still not going
Right.
Yeah.
So he gets a 10-game suspension. And I heard no appeal.
No appeal.
Just going to get through
Just
it. And
let it ride.
Verlander should be returning here soon. But again, this is what you get when you sign 40-year-old pitchers, even as great as Verlander and Scherzer have been in their careers.
Father Time catches up with everybody.
They're breaking down left and right. And now we see maybe Scherzer's looking for a little something to help him out, to get him through into his golden years. Just because you can spend all the money that Uncle Stevie Cohen can spend now as the relatively new owner of the Mets doesn't mean the chemistry is going to be there, doesn't mean you're signing the right guys. And of course, you throw a ton of money guaranteed, and a couple of those guys break down, you're on the hook.
For everything.
It ain't the NFL, baby, where you can at least get out from under some of that money. We talked about Fernando Tatis, the impending return. He is back. He is getting razzed. He is getting, cheater.
As he deserves. All's fair.
Now, this is an example of one time where we're sitting here praising the Rays, praising the Braves, praising the Astros for locking up their good young players. This is what San Diego did with Tatis, and that's backfiring.
That seems to be a little...
So, nothing is 100%. Let's just say that.
There's no guarantees.
We were talking about aging pitchers. I'm talking about Adam Wainwright, but something about this, considering he's only 33 years old, Madison Bumgarner, already designated for assignment by the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Ouch.
They're going to eat $34+ million to let him go.
Yeah.
You want to talk about somebody who went right down the tubes real quick. And we were talking for a while about him, and to a point, you can still say it, one of the greatest postseason pitchers ever.
Yeah. But boy, he went quick.
He aged quickly. I don't know if you want to make the excuse that it's because of all the extra pitching in the postseason.
No.
But no way at 33 years old should he be in this bad a shape when you've still got Verlander and Scherzer around at 40 and Wainwright. And then I can't believe I'm going to say this about one of my division rivals. But kudos finally to the Pittsburgh Pirates. We might be able to start talking about them in the same sentence as the Rays and the Braves and the Astros. They might have finally figured this thing out.
They opened the checkbook, too.
What's shocking. That's what's shocking.
They locked up
Brian Reynolds, who has been rumored. Last year it was the Yankees. Oh, the Yankees are going after Brian Reynolds. They're going to go after him in the offseason. They're going to wait till the 2023 trade deadline and grab him because the Pirates are going to be no good. Well, guess what? The Pirates are right now in first place in the NL Central. And they lock up Brian Reynolds. No, did not trade him.
Nope, they are keeping him.
8 years, $106.75 million extension. And this is interesting because I think the springboard for this Pirates team to now be excelling the way they are, because I defy anybody outside of the Pittsburgh area to name 3 players on this team, not counting the injured O'Neal Cruz, who, when that happened against the White Sox, that might have sent those two teams in different directions.
Yeah, the White Sox decided to spiral out of control, and the Pirates managed to regroup, pull together, and took off.
Yes. Showed what these teams should show: resiliency, camaraderie.
Yep. Yeah, just two completely opposite results. And that what leaves like 3 teams now who have not locked anybody up to over $100 million deal.
Again, this is where the economics of baseball are going.
Yeah, the White Sox, and I believe the A's and the Rays are the teams that have never signed anybody to a $100 million deal.
That sounds about right.
Which you would expect from the Rays and the A's. But in a huge market like Chicago, that shows again what a crappily run organization the Sox are.
Yeah, I don't know what the solution is for the White Sox outside of what you've proposed. Blow it up.
From the ownership down.
Yep.
It has to be done.
Now, speaking of Oakland, again, an awesome segue. An awesome segue.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, I love a good segue. That's what she said. The Oakland A's, soon to be no more.
Yep,
as they finally got sick and tired and fed up with Oakland dragging their feet on a new stadium. They purchased land for a stadium in Las Vegas.
Yep, and now the mayor of Oakland is blasting the A's organization. Well, they never gave us a chance. They didn't work with us. Bullshit. They've been trying to work with you for over a decade to get that piece of crap Coliseum replaced.
Yeah, did Lori Lightfoot move out there all of a sudden?
God. You had how long that you've been working with them and you've screwed them every step of the way. You have not done anything to try and help them find a place to build in the Bay Area. You have nobody to blame but yourselves.
And you can basically look at a mass exodus from that whole Bay Area, San Francisco area. Well, even if you're looking at teams pulling back to Santa Clara, you're looking at, nothing viable outside of the Giants. Because remember, the 49ers are out now. The Warriors are out now. Again,
still got the Sharks around San Jose.
San Jose. Again, that's an outlying area, though.
Yeah.
They're pulling out of that Bay Area. We hear about what it's like in the homeless encampments and
the shitty way everything is being run in all the cities up there.
Yep.
That's what you get from California.
The target for the A's is to move to Las Vegas in 2027. Sounds like construction will start pretty soon on a $1.5 billion stadium.
Yep. I mean, come on. If the frickin' city of Oakland can't get a damn possum out of the visiting team's press box, you've got problems.
Yes. Listen to last week's episode. Listen to the dumbass segment, and you'll know what Dave is talking about. But that'll do it for baseball.
Pretty much, I'm done.
Oh, come on.
Why am I going to waste how many 6-7 days a week watching garbage, non-competitive team?
I'm not saying you have to watch them, but you can follow them. You can look at the box scores.
From a distance.
Yes.
From a far distance. I was looking forward to going to a game or two this season. Not for this crap.
Tickets should be cheap.
Not. Maybe on the secondary market. They'd have to pay me to go at this point. Just to cover gas and tolls.
All right, we're going to save NASCAR for segment 3. So let's talk about the NBA playoffs. Again, we're still a week or two away from really being able to delve into this once we get through the first round. The 76ers in the East, the Nuggets and the Suns in the West have wrapped up their first round series. They've moved on. The Heat, surprisingly, giving
Hanging
the Bucks
tough.
all they can handle, the number 1 seed, Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe that a couple years ago when Jimmy Butler got him to the finals, that wasn't a fluke.
Yep, they're
And
looking pretty tough.
Eric Spoelstra is a damn good coach.
Who knew?
So the Heat are up 3-1 on the Bucks. Knicks are up 3-1 on the Cavaliers. Little shocked by that. Thought that'd be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
The 4-5 matchup. The Lakers are up 3-1 on the Memphis Grizzlies.
The injured Grizzlies.
This is unbelievable to me. Oh my God. If LeBron James, because of sheer luck and the injuries, started off with the Timberwolves, now with the Grizzlies, if he somehow weasels his way through this, I'm not giving him any credit for this.
Bullshit.
I am not giving him any credit for this.
I'm calling bullshit.
I'm with you. This is if the Lakers somehow end up playing the Golden State Warriors, and you're going to tell me that this shit isn't manipulated, you're out of your damn mind. You're out of your damn mind. Because that all that is trying to drive TV ratings. We don't want Memphis in there because nobody will watch, even though they're the better team, the higher seed.
There you go. That's always like that.
Boston up on the Hawks, but a little bit closer series than maybe some people thought. 3-2.
Atlanta's giving them a run.
Yep. So, again, we'll start getting a little more into it. Not saying we're going to watch it.
No.
But a little more into it probably next week or the week after.
Yeah. NHL, as it gets closer, we'll follow that a little bit more. But a little news. They're taking their game global like everybody else. So next season, as part of the Global Series, 4 teams are going to Sweden. The Wild, the Red Wings, the Maple Leafs, and the Senators. So there you go. Everybody's reaching out.
Yeah, I hate to say it with hockey in the playoffs, but really the one storyline everybody's looking at that matters is somebody going to be able to beat Boston?
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't think any of this matters. You know, again, New York fans, all our teams are in it. Ooh. Can you beat
Boston?
So
there we'll have to wait and see.
Yep. And going back just for a sec, I had one headline in the NBA outside of the playoffs that we should discuss. The Rockets have hired their new head coach. They have gone with the formerly disgraced Boston Celtics headman, Ime Udoka. And
his harem.
Well, I was kind of hoping you'd pick up on when I said headman and go with that, with the harem and, piece that together.
Yes. I was going a little more subtle.
As you are wont to do, yes. But, so the Rockets right now, this tells me maybe the fix is in again. We just talked about that with the Lakers and the Warriors possibly meeting in the Western playoffs, the Western Conference playoffs. Now, even though Udoka had the issues with the Celtics, the Nets almost brought him in, and now the Rockets do bring him in. Are the Rockets looking at this and saying, let's get the high-level head coach because we know we're going to win the lottery and get this, the kid from France who's supposedly the next great player?
So how are the...
Because I think it's the Rockets, the Pistons, and the Spurs are going to be the top 3 in the lottery.
Yeah.
So do they know something we don't?
Oh, do they know that their ball is going to be the cold one or weighted or whatever it is that they do?
Oh, and by the way, I should point out, getting 98 of 100 first place votes for the NBA Rookie of the Year would be the Orlando Magic's Paolo Banchero.
Now, when are the rest of the Magic going to show up and start
They played very well this
They
year.
did. They made great
Now,
strides.
next year, they need to be a playoff team. Not a play-in.
No, they need
to be a 5 or 6 seed next year.
Exactly.
I like where they're going.
That step. They need to make 1, maybe 2 moves.
Yep. Keep the young core intact, because God knows you've had all these high draft picks. Most of them starting to work out. Still 1 or 2 in there. The kid from Gonzaga, Suggs, that we got, who I thought was going to be great, has not been.
No.
But Paolo Banchero looks great. Franz Wagner, who we got from, came from Michigan, looks really solid, him and his brother. So you're right. They still need a couple tweaks. A veteran presence, maybe.
Yep.
But, next year I expect them to jump up into the playoff race, 5 or 6 seed. Not play in. Better than that. I expect more.
As you should.
And little trivia tidbit for you. Paolo Banchero becoming the 3rd Magic player to win Rookie of the Year. Dave, who are the other 2?
Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway?
Well, Shaquille O'Neal was the gimme. You'll never get the other one. Not Penny Hardaway.
Who would it be?
One Mike Miller.
Who?
Mike Miller was the other Orlando Magic player to win Rookie of the Year.
All right. Well, let's hope this guy goes the way of Shaquille.
Well, the only thing is, I
meant career trajectory. Not leaving.
Yeah.
Not leaving.
Yeah.
But the trajectory of the career.
That is my fear.
Is that they're going to go cheap?
He's going to keep playing well and getting better, and then he's going to ditch the Magic for somebody else. I don't want another Shaquille O'Neal. I don't want that. Shame on you, Dave.
I meant the trajectory.
You're taking your White Sox negativity and trying to project it onto my beloved Orlando Magic.
I thought they already had it.
Well, the thing is, you look at the history of the franchises, at least you guys have won a championship, right?
And yeah, way back in 2005, we bumbled, and flopped into that one. Because Kenny Williams made some bad trades, and things just happened to have fallen into place.
But you got it. We got it. So, Magic have been to the finals twice, but have not been able to win it. So,
there we go.
Hopefully this nucleus will be able to do something special.
Yep. All right, kids, get ready to get your motors running in segment 3 as we talk NASCAR and a hodgepodge of other things.
Got a little golf, got a dumbass. We'll be able to give you a nice, full, decent concluding segment here after another promo break. Dave and I will be right back. Are you having trouble falling asleep behind the wheel of your expensive SUV? Are you finding difficulty in avoiding golf clubs thrown at you by your angry wife as you pull out of the driveway? Sign up today for the Tiger Woods Driving School, sponsored by Sports Frenzy 2.0. We'll show you how to text ladies of the night while still driving effectively in the wee hours of the morning. We'll also teach you how to ditch a suspicious backpack when you end up driving into a ditch. Check out Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, for updates on our latest classes, including how to curse and swear in front of uptight golf fans and their children and still be adored by millions. The Tiger Woods Driving School. It's great. All right, everybody. Segment 3 here. Wednesday night, April the 26th, 2023. Wrapping up Sports Frenzy 2.0 for the week. He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
We have got our weekly NASCAR news, reviews, and race picks for you here in the third and final segment. So first up, we will look back at last weekend's Talladega race, the Geico 500. Pretty boring race.
Yeah, it was not overly exciting for the most part. Things got fun towards the end when they finally started running 3 wide. When that outside line, they finally decided to start using that. Was really getting fun when it was becoming a fuel mileage run near the end. That was really going to make things interesting. When you saw guys trying to back off a little bit, and then you had the cautions starting to come out.
Yep. And then when they finally got through, of course, green, white, checkered, you get through the first lap, then the race is going to be official no matter what. When they finally got to that point, it had to be fucking Bubba Wallace acting like a retard. Yes, I said retard. To screw Ryan Blaney, our pick.
Yep, Blaney had a good run. Bubba came down to block him. We knew a bad block was coming, and that was it.
Luckily, didn't wreck him out.
Nope.
Blaney finishes second, but that allows
Kyle frickin' Busch to get a win. His second of the season.
Yep. So should not be upset, should not cry with a second place finish.
Nope. But Blaney played it safe much of the day. He did not get up there, did not get any stage points.
No.
He rolled out of it and played it cautious.
Timid, very cautious. I agree completely. But again, it paid off for him when it came to the finish line.
Yep.
Barely.
They had that on the one restart, he just missed getting taken out when Larson got absolutely plastered by Ryan Preece. Tore that car up, tore the side off of it, bent one of the bars up and in. So, of course, they took both cars to the R&D center so NASCAR could tear them down and figure out how to improve them better. Both Larson and Preece were brought in to talk about their experience, what it felt like in there, just trying to get all the info they can to try and improve on safety.
Yep. Now, we didn't technically have the quote-unquote big one. So don't take it the wrong way. We're not rooting for the big one.
No, we never want to see the big one.
But we expect the big one. And we didn't really we got a couple smaller ones.
Yeah, but what we say when it's not a good race, there wasn't a hell of a lot of passing.
Right.
There was just no movement at all. Nobody was vying for anything until it got near the end. And even for the end of the stages, they were pretty mild and tame. So
yeah, Denny Hamlin had the pole. What was it? Chase Elliott and Eric Almirola won the 2 stages.
Yep.
But again, when it comes to a super speedway race, I will take Ryan Blaney every time now because he's proven to me he will figure out a way to get at least some semblance of a decent point day for me.
Yeah.
Even if there's an accident, they somehow get him back out, and he
can still manage to fare well.
Like we're talking about, he races smart.
Yep.
If you want to call it a little timid, that's fine.
Bubba can get himself up there, but he makes the stupid moves and puts himself in a position to get taken out.
You have got that 5 or 6 group of drivers.
Yeah, Austin Dillon can run very well.
Ricky Stenhouse.
They usually, if they wreck, it's not of their own doing.
Right. I'm thinking Bubba. I'm thinking Stenhouse. I'm thinking Dylan. I'm thinking Almirola. Even McDowell, if you want to throw him in there. And now younger driver, Cindric. Those are the guys that can run really well on a super speedway, but they still tend to take
There's just something.
those reckless chances or tend to put themselves in danger.
Yeah.
Where the smarter, more veteran drivers will drop back when they need to. They'll give up the stage points to survive at the end.
Yeah. So
some other highlights.
And sorry for the wreck that took out Larson. Stop blaming Ross Chastain. He made a move that anybody would have made in that position.
Oh, we've talked about that since last year.
God.
They love to blame Ross Chastain for everything.
I like Ross Chastain.
I do too. I'm with you, man. I am with you. A couple other things to note from Talladega. Kudos to our man, Kevin Harvick. Happy Harvick. 800th career start.
Yep, kudos to him. Hell of a career so far. This is, of course, his farewell tour, hanging it up after this season.
And he's bowing out at the right time. He's still a viable driver, probably will make the playoffs.
Yep.
I don't know if I would say he's going to challenge for the title, but...
Probably not, but just let him get through this season so he can help his kids develop their racing skills.
And then talking about a quote-unquote developing story, at one point on the Fox broadcast, I believe Joey Logano was winning. So, of course, they like to do the segue into the commercials where they show the driver who's winning. And in this case, he's part of the Coca-Cola family.
Right. They always say where the Coca-Cola family of drivers are running.
But in this case, Joey was also winning. So they did their little segue, their cutaway, where Joey held up his Coke, and said, "You're watching the Geico 500 on Fox." And I looked at that hair. You should be doing Hair Club for Men. What is that? That's not sliced bread. That's not the Joey Logano I know with the receding hairline. What is that on his head? It looks like a dead ferret. This is like when Brian Urlacher got the hairpiece. I mean, what happened to a smooth transition? Come on.
Dignity and grace, people. Dignity and grace.
Oh, my God. I don't know how I feel about this weave or whatever the plugs, whatever he's got going on. And I respect Joey Logano. I do. 2-time champion. How can you not? But, boy, this hair thing is just distracting me. Sorry. It is just distracting me. All right, the one big headline of the week. Alex Bowman. Not a good year in terms of luck for the health of some of these drivers in the Hendricks camp. They're winning races. Larson's got 2. William Byron's got 2. Bowman was having a great point season.
Yep.
But Tuesday night in a sprint car crash.
Fractures of vertebrae. Gonna be out at least 3 weeks.
Can you say waiver?
Yes, we can. And of course, super sub coming back in.
Josh Berry.
Josh Berry filled in very well for Chase Elliott. He will be filling in for Bowman.
He's gonna get a full-time gig as a part-time Hendrick replacement driver.
Yeah. Maybe they should think about allowing him to run for the Cup Championship and not the Xfinity.
Wasn't that kind of what Ryan Preece was there last year,
a little
before
bit
for Stewart Haas?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, kids. Enough of Joey Logano's hair and the bad luck of Hendricks drivers off the course, off the track.
Time to talk Dover, the Monster Mile.
Race 11 of the 2023 season coming up April the 30th. The Worth. It's got the umlaut like Motley Crue, so I got to say it right. Worth 400. That seems so pretentious for a NASCAR race. Really, doesn't it?
It does. No umlauts in the South.
Unless it's Motley Crue, man.
They frown upon that.
Oh, the Monster Mile
I
Dover.
bet majority of them don't even know what an umlaut is.
Isn't that like a cufflink? What is that?
Wasn't that one of them there orange things on Willy Wonka?
All right, 7 of our 8 panelists, our 8 experts have got their picks in. Let us start off with, of course, the majority, the drivers who were picked the most. So let us go with the Big Blue W, and Nick, the juggler, are going with Kyle Larson, coming off that wreck at Talladega. I don't normally think of Kyle Larson at Dover.
No, neither do I. And he's going to be sore, and Dover is not an easy track to drive.
Should we tell the story about Aaron's pick?
Oh, we have to. We have to.
First up, let's say that Doug, the governor, and Aaron, the Big Easy, are taking Chase Elliott. Now, I like to poke and prod, not the girls, but
well,
but
preferably
our group on Wednesday afternoons to make sure they're getting their picks in a timely manner. So I sent out an email about 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock tonight, 4 hours before the deadline, saying, hey, your Dover picks are due tonight. By the way, Chase Elliott's back and Alex Bowman is out. Responding directly to that email. Not separate. I would have even believed if he hadn't looked at it and he sent it in separately, that's fine. Responding directly to that email, my man Aaron picks Alex Bowman.
Dude, you're killing us, Smalls.
So then I have to do my extra work, which I hate to do, and go back out and say, wrong, can't pick him. He's injured. Another pick, dude.
Reread the email. So
he goes with Chase Elliott. Now we get into the group that matters. The three.
I don't think I matter at this point because I'm still wallowing at the bottom of the heap.
No, but in terms of seniority, we are the 3 senior members of Sports Frenzy.
The senior panelists.
As I have these picks each and every week lined up, I do it by seniority. That's why I do it this way.
All right.
And so the 3 senior members of Sports Frenzy, which would be me and you and the Elder Statesman, the Friday night, 2nd and 3rd round NFL draft.
That's crew, right.
Our picks are.
I am going with the Melon Man, Ross Chastain.
As you were just sticking up for him.
Exactly.
Saying, stop picking on the Melon Man. And I have already said, and I believe you're with me, when Happy Harvick's done and he retires, the Melon Man's my new favorite driver, active driver.
Yep.
I was going back and forth. And Sam took the one that I didn't take. So Sam takes Kevin Harvick. I am going to go with Martin Truex Jr.
That was my second pick.
I just have a feeling that if it's not going to happen this week, then the Toyotas are in for a long, long season, is how I'm looking at this. I think even if he doesn't win, he's got to have a solid showing. So I will take Martin Truex Jr. So Dover is not the easiest race to pick.
No, they don't call it the monster for nothing.
So this is why I think you're seeing a lot of different picks among our panelists.
It's a mile-long track, but the banking is not as steep in the corners as Bristol, but the straights are banked. And it's a physically demanding track.
Yeah, this is not like last week where 6 of the 8 of us took Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
This is not an easy pick for this race. So more of a survival pick than a go for a win type of pick.
Yep.
All right. Interesting news from the Live Golf Tour. Now, number one, I want to point something out. I noticed this past weekend, ESPN was putting headlines up on their main page for the Live Golf results.
Were they?
Which
now?
I found very interesting.
Really?
Yes.
Now I'm intrigued.
Because
good for them.
I can't remember his. I'm probably going to butcher his name, but I think I've got it right. Tyler Gooch.
Yeah, it's a Goocher.
He jumped out to a big lead and then barely held on. And ESPN was updating the main page every day. I'm thought, oh, look at this.
Hey,
ESPN's
all right.
kind of acknowledging the Live Golf Tour now.
That's a good thing.
Now, Greg Norman, this past week, of course, the face of the Live Golf Tour, the elder statesman, says that we have approached several of the women on the LPGA Tour, and we have hopes of starting a Live Women's Tour.
Why not?
Go for it.
Why not?
And he says he has got significant interest.
There you go. Play one fewer round.
More
money. What's not to like?
We're all about equity here on Sports Frenzy. So if the men can do it,
so can the women. And hey, if the Saudis are going to back a women's league, that's progress, kids.
Yeah. I mean, how much are they going to have to cover up, though?
None.
That's one thing. Every time the WWE goes into Saudi Arabia yearly to do their crown jewel, the women have to wear the full body suits.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
All right.
So I take it it's a good thing Paige Spiranac is no longer golfing because
you dirty dog. You dirty dog. I like the way you think.
Just throwing it out there, kids.
You want to talk about somebody that's all over, too. I see her every week on Fox News. You know, now, the Fox News website is a little shady to me because
isn't it always?
They always sneak in, oh, we're a serious news organization.
No,
and they sneak in all these stories about, oh, Kim Kardashian posts on Instagram wearing nothing but a thong made of ostrich feathers. Oh, and that's hard news, huh, Fox?
Well, in some circles it is.
Yeah, it's hard news. All right, finally, again, no moments of silence that I have found this week in the sports world, and that's a good thing. There's
one minor note. Dave Frost, who was a California Angels pitcher, helped them to the postseason in '79, has passed away. Kind of a little minor player, but still thoughts and prayers to the family.
Absolutely. And no, we're not going to play Dumbass or Not this week. Just one Dumbass, and this actually is kind of a carryover. This is one that I did not put on last week's roster. It's a couple weeks old. Little stale, but still very interesting. The World Snooker Championship. The dumbass protester who decided to interfere in the World Snooker Championships, the Just Stop Oil protester who jumped on one of the tables and dumped orange powder all over it. The video is out there, kids. You can look it up. It is a dumbass move. But again...
Really? Seriously? What fucking dumbass goes to a snooker tournament to protest? The least watched frickin' sport competition, whatever you want to call it, there is. He'd have been better off going to the World Poker Tour.
I was going to say, been better off going to a USFL game or an XFL game. Man, I heard the USFL. 10 people in the stands,
Ooh.
Maybe 20. I mean, it's getting bad.
Ouch.
Once again, both of these leagues, spring football failing miserably. I gave it a little bit of a shot with the USFL last year, but there's just nothing to differentiate it. AJ McCarron, remember him? Supposedly he had some kind of record-setting day here recently.
Was dating the hot girl that Musburger was fawning all over.
Right. Which, again, he got too much grief for. I need more of that. I want more of that.
That's why you become a starting quarterback, kids.
I would love to have had Jim Nantz looking at a cheerleader at one of those Final Four games and notice she was hot and then look down at his lap and go, "Hello, friend." That's what we need in our sports coverage. No,
say hello to my little friend.
No Tony Romo eating a sandwich in between plays. Well, Jim, I think that's going to be a too deep zone.
Oh, Tony, you're so right.
Check out the weekend edition, kids. I'm telling you, the weekend edition is going to be stellar this week. We've got a lot of fun stuff for you. It is your Saturday morning hangover cure for your Friday night debauchery coming up here April the 29th. Of course, it will always be Dave and I doing that as well. Do you want to say goodbye to the kids, Dave?
Goodbye to the kids, Dave. Although I will not be here for this next week.
That's right. I will be flying solo next week.
I am doing the husbandly duty and going to see Yo-Yo Ma with the wife.
All I can think of when you tell me about this is the Kramer. Kramer on Seinfeld. Yo-Yo Ma! He got hit in the head. Yo-Yo Ma! Yeah.
So in 2 weeks, when we come back for the weekend edition, I will have the review of Shinedown and Yo-Yo Ma.
Are you really going to review Yo-Yo Ma?
Probably not.
Edition?
No. Well, yes, I'm going to bring some culture.
The people don't want that. I don't want that.
All right, fine. I'll focus on Shinedown.
There you go.
Because my monsters are real.
That does not mean, though, you should not check out this weekend's weekend edition. We've got plenty for you.
It will be good, kids.
And I will have plenty of stuff on.
He's
Dave's
got you
off
covered.
week.
He's got you covered.
I've already got it planned out. I've already got things in the works. We'll get you through. So, for the Conquistador Dave Hyde, I am the maestro Kevin Crane. That is a wrap. Sports Frenzy 2.0 done.
Chicken or turkey?
I don't like wraps, to be honest with you.
There you go.
They give me gas. And you don't want me to have gas here in the studio.
No, we do not. All right, kids. We'll talk to you later.